There we go. Coming to you live from Nostalgic Books and Comics in San Gabriel, California. This is Dre's Geek Philosophy, the Monday edition, the Monday after Father's Day. He's a father. We have Jai Polidore here with us on my left and on my right. Per usual, we have people in. It's a three-man booth today. We're like WWE, forcing three people in the booth. We have our commentator, a regular, and a black person. That's how they do it in WWE. They got rid of the black guy on Monday Night Raw. But what? Hey, who cares about that kind of stuff? You know what it also is? It's the Monday after E3. Yeah, this past week, I finally got to go back to the Electronic Entertainment Expo. And you know what? It wasn't that great. To be honest, it was not. See, Jai over here, he's a veteran of many E3s. That's why I asked him to come down this Monday. Pete, you're a veteran of many conventions.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as I was saying last week, I don't know if I talked about it a lot on last Monday's show, but the Electronic Entertainment Expo used to be a show that was a trade show. It was a show that was meant for people in the industry. Of course, hooligans like myself and Mr. Jai here, we would sneak in to the show by hook or crook. Yeah, if you knew your way around a thing or two, if you knew how to manipulate some W-2s and paycheck stubs, you could get into E3. There was a lot of
chicanery.
Or as I was telling, I would tell my lovely fiance Rosa, a lot of goobers, and we were goobers back then.
Yeah.
But nowadays they sell a goober pass or a gamer pass.
Make that money.
They clearly are trying to make up for all the money they're not getting, because one of the big differences from this year's E3 compared to E3s in the past, EA has stopped going. They threw their own shindig over the weekend at the Hollywood Palladium.
And it's not just EA. Sony's not in it.
I'm about to get to that. Yeah. Sony was no show. No show for Sony. They did not want to pay the millions of dollars to put up a giant monolith of their own. Microsoft took their ball and went across the street to LA Live.
It's easier that way.
Is that a Microsoft Theater?
Exactamundo, my friend. They were at the Microsoft Theater, which I actually didn't even head on over there. I think my E3 pass would have got me into whatever shenanigans they were doing, but I didn't feel like walking all the way the fuck over there. Because goddamn, I went one day. I went Tuesday, and that was it. If you go to our YouTube channel, you'll see all the videos that I took. I was very focused because this is the first time I went to E3, and I treated it like work. I spent a good 4 hours just taking video, taking photos, just running around trying to gather content for you people.
You ungrateful.
You people.
And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
But I wanted to actually treat it like I should have been treating it for a lot of years if I actually had the wherewithal to start a podcast years ago, right after I left Nintendo. There's no way I would have been able to get away with this while I was working with the Big Gray Ann. And remember, take a drink. Dre's Geek Philosophy drinking game. Anytime I mention I work for Nintendo, take a drink. Yeah, I busted out a lot of these older shirts from out of storage. Been wearing it specifically for the podcast. But yeah, E3 was incredibly disappointing. You have fond memories of E3s in the past, my friend Jai Polidore?
Beautiful Joe, man. That was the first time I played it.
That's right. Now that was 2002?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because that came out in 03. So it might have been E3 03.
Because E3 used to be this magical place where you got to play the games that were coming out over the next 6 days to 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
But in addition to playing those games, especially as a person who was working retail at that time, it gave us the opportunity to say, hey, this is the game that you need to keep an eye out for. It's going to play like this. It does this. It's got this. It's got this. So you had a leg up on people who weren't able to go to E3. And of course, this is before the internet became as huge as it is now.
Yeah.
Where nowadays you have people who are just like, okay, well, I don't have to go to E3. I can just go to Kotaku or go to GameSpot or wherever, and I can get all my news from there.
Yeah.
But back then,
there was no internet.
No.
I mean, there was very pedestrian internet. The coverage was very. It take a long time for the coverage to get from E3 to an internet website, or even when E3 had started. I looked that up. It was 1995. Back when it was still print coverage. You'd have to wait for the E3 issue of EGM or Game Informer or or Game Pro or whatever
Next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Best mag ever. But
Next gen, that was a good one.
But even then, when we first started going to E3, yeah, the internet was there, but that was when Media Player was the de facto video.
Yeah.
Who uses that now?
Yeah, the internet was around, but it wasn't. It's not to where we have today, where there was no smartphones back then. I remember 1 year I took like 08, I took a camcorder. Remember those things? Oh man,
I've done that a few times. Get mad at everybody, cursing at everybody for walking in front of me while I'm videotaping. And yeah, those are good times. But now it's kind of like how Comic Con was, or has become, where it's not really about what's coming out so much as it is the spectacle. And even now the spectacle is starting to take a back seat because they're just letting anybody in. Certain things they really probably should have just kept to the industry. Yeah, a couple people would sneak their way in, but
well, actually no. From 06 forward, I was in the industry, so
I wasn't, and I still snuck my way in. But yeah, those people. You sneak your way in, okay, fine, no problem. Nobody's going to get on your case that much. But now, with them having the Gamers Pass and whatnot, the mysticism is gone.
Yeah.
Now it's become, for lack of a better word,
it's just another show now.
Yeah.
That was the feeling I got as I was leaving. I did about like 4.5, 5 hours there, and it just felt like another convention now. It felt like it was special before because it was a trade show.
It was exclusive.
It was exclusive. And everyone always talks about swag. Back then, there was free stuff you can get.
I still have all my T-shirts.
Yeah, well, it wasn't even just shirts. Remember, Nintendo, there were some years where they were giving away all kinds of cool shit. There was 1 year, like, you had to wait in a long-ass line, but at the end of the line, they put you in a little roulette wheel. Game Boy Advance. You could walk away with a Nintendo system.
Yep, I remember that.
You could walk away with an SP. That was insane.
The guy next to me won. I almost jumped him, but I'm very skinny and non-threatening.
Yeah, I remember coming home with accessories. Like they'd hand you accessories for your Game Boy
hey, check this out. Here's some stuff.
Well, because it was just supposed to be a trade show. I remember the very first E3 I went to was when Kingdom Hearts had just gotten announced. Had gotten announced the year before. I went 2002, and I got to play. Oh, it might have actually been 2001. I actually got to play it. I remember like, oh, cool. And yeah, I didn't have to wait in a line. There wasn't a gigantic line to wait behind an hour and a half of people. There were just a bunch of booths at the Square Enix booth. Or actually, it might have even been the Disney. It was the Disney booth and at the Square Enix booth. At the Disney booth, I remember I walked into they had this cool tunnel. They kept playing the trailer. You walk through the tunnel. And then, oh, cool. A whole bunch of places to try out the game. And you could just do that. And I think that might have been the same year. It was at the GameCube. Yep. And I got to play Metroid Prime. No problem. Just walk up. Oh, cool. I'm playing Metroid Prime. And the Nintendo person would tell me all about it. All right, cool. And it was just like, you could just walk up and play the games. I remember it was very weird. Like the Nintendo booth was just like, I remember some of the games had enclosed little rooms. You go into the enclosed room so the sound system could hit you.
Yeah.
And I remember playing like trying out. They had Wind Waker, and I'm like, oh, what the hell? This is insane. it was just that's what the show used to be, and now it's a line con.
Yeah.
It's just lines, and like even because the cool thing with the industry pass and then the gamer pass. So the industry pass, you actually had 3 hours where you had the show to yourself. Like for like the first day when I went, it was like 11 to 2. It was industry, media, and exhibitors. That's it. Everyone else who had the gamer pass, they're like these orange passes. They got let in too afterwards. I remember the distinct difference between, all right, before 2 p.m., all right, I could walk around. I still couldn't play anything because everything was enclosed. I remember the first E3 we went to after it came back. When we went like in 2009, everything became closed off.
Yeah.
I remember the Capcom booth had like 6 playable things, and then there was a wall, and then where the actual people who were going in for meetings got to go inside and play stuff. And that's when I knew, I'm like, shit is different now. But for those who don't know, the E3 in 2006, it had become a fucking a spectacle. Even at that point, it had gotten out of control.
Yep.
To where You had to wait in a 5-hour line to play the Wii. I remember that was insane.
I did not wait in that line. There was no way I was waiting.
It was insane. It was a giant line there, and then everyone was playing loud music trying to draw people over. There were the scantily clad booth babes were all over the place, which I'm sure you missed those days. And it became more about everyone just trying to outspend each other, and that's when I think we're an EA, a Sony, we're complaining to the Entertainment Software Association, like, hey, this isn't what this show, like, the show was becoming kind of like what Comic-Con was happening at Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And the show went away. It technically went away for 2 years, from 07 and 08. In 07, they had it in an airplane hangar in Santa Monica.
Which was a bad idea.
It was very utilitarian, where like everybody got a 6-foot table. It looked like the East LA Cave, where everyone, it didn't matter how big or how low you were in the industry. Everybody got a 6-foot table. You bring your own monitors, you bring your own stuff, and you just set up. And it was specifically, okay, we were turning it back into just a basic trade show.
Yep.
And that was, and then of course everyone complained. So in 2008, they had it in just the concourse hall, where the porn conventions would normally happen, just in the middle. There are some big rooms in that concourse, and they had, and then everybody basically got a 10 by 10 space, instead of just a 6-foot table. And even then, people still kind of complain. Okay, they wanted to bring back this some of the spectacle. They wanted to, I think some of the other companies wanted to spend more, and obviously your bigger companies were like, oh, they're not getting. No, the phrase I use all the time on the podcast: return on investment.
Yep.
Where of course, the original purpose of the Electronic Entertainment Expo was the publishers and the console manufacturers got to meet with titans of industry, where you had your leaders from Walmart and Target and GameStop and Best Buy and so on. So there was more titans of industry back in the day. Now everything's just Amazon.
Yeah.
But back then they could meet and then they could try the games and they can and then the goal was to get these buyers excited about the game, so they would go back to their bosses and order more. Order more Call of Duties. Order more freaking the next EA Sports game. I will never forget the first time I saw the EA booth, and this was probably like around the PS2 era. So it was like 02 or 03, and they had this giant wall freaking monitor. It went all the way across their entire booth, and then watching Burnout 3 explode on there, and it was just like, I was just like, sensory overload. It was amazing. I were like, that game looks fucking cool. I went back to our store. I played Burnout 3. Hey, you know what? The game is fucking cool. And then seeing Star Wars: The Old Republic, like, whoa, what the fuck? A sequel to Knights of the Old Republic, but it's online. What the fuck?
Yep, I remember those.
There was a spec. I mean, EA. I remember EA would freaking go all out, and they'd spend like crazy on their booth. But now everyone's kind of just like, no, they're pulling back. Activision, literally, they were in the because what a lot of the people who go to E3 don't know is there are a lot of deals happening upstairs. There's those. If you walk into the West Hall, there's these 3 or 4 escalators go up. That's where all the real shit is happening. Upstairs, each of the companies has a meeting room, and even though Sony and Microsoft and freaking Activision, they didn't have a table or they didn't have a booth. They were upstairs. They had meeting rooms. They were all still taking meetings. And like I said, my current job, working for my boss in freaking game distribution, I'm more connected to the industry now than I ever was when I worked for Nintendo. Fucking crazy. He spent all 3 days there. He didn't want to be there all 3 days. My poor boss. At Dusty Games. If you want to get some games, at Dusty Games, our awesome sponsor. My boss, he was freaking had to go back and forth. He didn't want to go back the 3rd day, but he had to. He was taking meetings with a whole bunch of different people because he is a freaking big distributor internationally.
Nice. We
don't just sell here in America; we sell all over the world. I pulled a freaking order for Hong Kong. I pulled an order for freaking Japan today. We sell to a whole bunch of people.
Do you guys sell to Play Asia? Do you know?
That may be who I pulled an order for today. I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Fifth.
I totally did. Yeah, that's one of the first things that tripped me out. I'm like, what? Play Asia? Wait, I used to order from them.
I still order from them. Well, whenever the new Bayonetta game comes out, because I need the soundtrack.
You need the soundtrack for old Bay. Your Bay Bayonetta.
She is. who was mysteriously absent at this year's E3, but
well, because we're supposed to get a Bayonetta 3, but that's eventually, I'm sure, it's going to co-publishing with Nintendo and blah blah blah, yada yada yada. So instead of going on about the negatives, let me talk about some of the positives. Let me talk about, if you haven't checked out our videos on our YouTube page, there's links posted all over Dre's Geek Philosophy Facebook page. But the first thing I saw was the Sega booth. They had a big display of freaking Sonic and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games. They're doing, because it's going to be in Japan. Hey, wait, Sega's based in Japan, so yeah, they're putting in a whole lot of effort in this one, more so than London or some of the other games that have happened before. So they had a huge booth for that, but they also had the Sega Genesis Mini, which I love old games. I know you love old games.
Mm-hmm.
Old
Fond
games are
memories
fun.
of the Genesis.
Old games are really fun, and they had it there, and it was playable. And it was really cool. And what they also had, they had the world's largest Genesis control, and it was functional.
Oh.
So this giant D-pad, giant buttons, and a giant D-pad. People playing Sonic, they're like pressing down, and they're like, "Oh, hit the button, jump!" It was like an arcade game. It was like instead of like bopping freaking moles, they're freaking bopping buttons to make Sonic jump around.
Oh, okay.
That was really cool. I'm pretty excited for that Sega Genesis Mini. I hope to acquire one myself at some point later this year. It comes out in September.
A legit one, not the one that you can already get from the swap meet.
Yeah,
and those little kiosks in the middle of the mall.
CVS.
Although there are some like licensed ones they have done in the past. Like there's ones that like could take Genesis cartridges on top of having a bunch of pre-installed games.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I forget who they licensed them through. It was some company that did like it was like all I could hear about is like they're poorly emulated. There's like just. It's just terrible, but there was one that like it looked like the second or third generation Genesis, and then like you could plug in a Genesis cartridge and it would work.
Oh, cool.
It was like a Genesis and an emulator at the same time.
Ooh.
But that one was cool, but I never pulled the trigger on buying any one of those. So after that, I looked at the Nintendo booth, and the Nintendo booth was out of control. And the Nintendo booth just lines. They had a giant line for Pokemon Sword and Shield. They had a giant line to play Luigi's Mansion, because that was an enclosed area. I kind of wish I'd gotten inside there to at least just look at what all the Luigi's Mansion interiors. I saw some photos from some friends of mine who work for Nintendo, and it looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And because it was, now that was it. All they had at Nintendo was a Switch, because the 3DS. Au revoir, old friend. No more.
Go well into the night.
The final 3DS game might have come out last week. It was Persona Q2. And we sold a shitload of those at work. We sold a metric ton. Literally. Like a pallet's worth of them. Holy shit. People really wanted this Persona, because people love Persona right now. And there was another line at Nintendo to get into like a big freaking playpen of like, they had a bunch of third-party games. Like Bethesda's coming out with a shitload of Switch games. Like Elder Scrolls Online, Wolfenstein, Doom Eternal. There's a whole bunch of stuff coming from Bethesda. And it was like, oh, it's very surprising. And then they had Resident Evil 5.
And 6.
Well, they only had 5 playable there.
Oh, dude, that's okay.
Yeah, they had 5 playable where people could try 5, and then they had the game I'm most excited for from Nintendo coming out this year. Hopefully, I know because everything from Nintendo comes out in 2019. A whole bunch of stuff comes out in 2019. Everyone else comes out in 2020.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah, like a bunch of games you're not going to play this year.
Yeah,
was most of what was coming out.
Nintendo's like, hold my beer.
Yeah, exactly. And then they had Legends of the Link's Awakening, the remake of the old GBA game. I'm
never
super.
played it.
Oh, that's the first Zelda game I ever beat. Oh, I killed so many AA batteries. I murdered so many AA batteries. I remember sitting at a car dealership, trying to fight the underwater boss. There's an annoying underwater boss, and trying to play it on a 2D plane on a old school GB, freaking olive and freaking green.
Oh man.
Oh man, when I got my hands on the no, not PSP.
Not the PSP, but
the GBA, but then getting the SP version.
Oh yeah.
The Link's Awakening SP. That was it's all in color. This is amazing.
Link's Awakening, the DX version.
DX, yeah, Link's Awakening DX, yeah.
I have that. Never seen the inside of it.
Yeah.
I do my backlog.
As you always do to other people, you are doing a disservice to yourself, sir, for not ever having played a Link to the Past portable. It's an adorable Link to the Past portable.
I played Oracle of Ages
and CL Reeve, or Resident Evil 5 and 6. Banjo, no. They announced a couple Smash Bros. Characters.
Yes,
and Banjo-Kazooie, and they announced the Dragon Quest Hero, in which everyone's like, oh, what are the last two characters? Oh, if Banjo-Kazooie was the third character they're going to show, they're also going to show something spectacular for the fourth and fifth characters. It might just be some random, who knows what, from Nintendo. We don't know.
And yes, TL Reed, we will be playing Resident Evil 5 online as soon as it comes out. That goes for you too, because I need an original partner.
I have it for PS4, my friend.
I don't.
I have it for PS4. If I have to get it for you for your birthday, I will get you Resident Evil 5 for PS4, and we can resume our hijinks. Or I can just bring my PS4 to your house, or you can come to my house, and we can do local co-op as is appropriate.
Yes.
We can do it on my big fucking TV. And we can do that. It's fucking right across. Boom. Bam, bam.
I am game. I am game. Because, yes, that poor white woman does need saving. And
her FICO score is far too high to be kidnapped by all these...
unscrupulous Negroes.
Unscrupulous Negro. Oh, yeah, because Resident Evil 5. See, Resident Evil 4 was all Hispanic people kidnapping.
That's okay.
Te voy a partir la madre! That was one of the few little, like, happy moments. Like, I'm glad I know Spanish. Were all the swearing that they did in Resident Evil 4. Te voy a coger! I'm going to fuck you! I'm like, on a Nintendo console game. Oh my! Clutch my pearls!
You know, it's funny, because I was playing that once a year, which I do.
Yeah, it's Resident Evil 4. It's one of the greatest games ever made.
Ever. And I was playing it, and my chick is watching me play, and she's hearing all the cursing, and so she's laughing, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're laughing at, because I'm too busy killing everything.
Because you don't know what the fuck they're saying for all these years.
I'm like,
you have no idea what all these villagers are screaming at you.
No,
obscenities.
I just know that there's a bad guy over there, and he's either one, trying to kill me, or two, he needs to die. That's all I know. So she's translating it for me, and I'm like, oh yeah, you definitely have to die.
You finally, freaking 13 years later, you finally get to, 13 years later, you finally get to understand how much they wanted to fuck you.
Yeah. It was one of those "what you say about my mama" type of lines.
That game was hilarious. It's out of control. You don't even know. Well, actually, you got to learn a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's answer Bradney's question. How do you feel about Swamp Thing getting canceled?
Still confused. I don't know why it got canceled.
Warner Media is just gonna cancel the DC Universe app and turn it into the Warner Media app. End of story. That's the best we can give you right there. They're gonna get rid of the DC Universe app and just create a WB app of all the WB things. I saw an ignorant person say, "Oh, someone should buy DC Comics off of Warner." Like, you ignorant fuck.
Yeah, it's like buying Harry Potter at the same time.
Let me go buy Mickey Mouse from Disney, all right? Yeah. No, Warner Brothers is more than happy to keep all those IPs in their ownership like they've been for ever.
Yeah. Forever.
Like, I really have to stop reading, like, comments on articles.
That's the...
I know. Oh, God, it's like a cesspool of hate and despair.
Yeah. See, he had fans of the tax credit, but I think that was just a part of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
People from Warner Bros. Keep denying the fact it was a financial thing, but I think they're gonna kill the app at some point and just create a Warner app of like everything Warner. So you'll have like it'll be the counter to Disney Plus. It's just like freaking.
Yeah.
It'll be like Disney Plus has all their shit. Warner will just say, okay, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, DC Comics, all their other whatever other Looney Tunes. It's gonna have
too.
The Matrix. Yeah, they just have all that stuff in one app, just like, and then we'll get to this point where we'll have to buy a super app for $100, $200 a year, and then we'll get all the apps, and then hey, wait. I mean, fucking the ass just like I did with cable and satellite. Wait, no!
I'm just going to download it for free.
Bradley, don't worry about comic book shops. Comic books will continue to exist because of copyright laws. They have to maintain all these books at a loss to make sure they hold their copyrights on all these valuable comic book characters they can turn into movies. So don't you worry your sweet dad. Pete Millennial will still have a comic shop. Yeah. The comics will still continue to be printed, even at a loss. Right? They have to.
Yeah, essentially.
Essentially, to keep everything. to keep all their characters, they have to keep publishing them.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll take some breaks like with the Fantastic Four, but then they realize, oh shit, we gotta keep publishing them. So don't worry your sweet little head, Bradney. Comic books will still be around. They've survived 80 years.
Yeah.
They'll keep surviving. They're the one medium that somehow keeps defying technology and logic, and they will continue to defy logic for at least through our days.
Yeah.
Unlike Kmart and soon to be Sears.
Yes. So, speaking of companies hanging on and publishing things just to keep them relevant, Square Enix. See, I am the king of the segue. Square Enix. So, of course, half of the Square Enix booth was Final Fantasy VII Remake. I know you are excited for it. I know former executive producer Sam Zia is super excited for that. I've seen various opinions. This Final Fantasy VII Remake, people got to try it. You had to line up and get tickets. You had to like show up like Johnny on the spot. You had to be like, as soon as the doors opened at whatever, either 11 or 9 or whatever fucking day, you had to go line up and go get your tickets. And they had two separate. They were kind of to have two separate windows. One window was for industry, and another window was for Gamer Pass. So that way the Gamer Pass people didn't get fucking ass. They're you know what? Good on Square for doing that. And I've heard various people say, oh, you know what? The demo was good.
That's what I've been hearing.
The demo was good. It plays a little bit like Final Fantasy 15, which I've only watched Final Fantasy 15. I still haven't played it personally. I'm guessing that's somewhere in your backlog of forever.
Yeah. I keep hoping they're going to release a Switch version so that I could buy the game again, but I just don't have the time. Unless something comes out bringing something out on the Switch is almost like a guarantee for me to buy it.
Yeah, right there, TL Reeve right here on Facebook Live. With that, that's the comment that's you nailed it around the head, TL Reeve. There are only so many different expansion packs.
Yeah.
We don't know how many episodes because they said that. So they're going to nickel and dime us on this one. So the game they're releasing is going to be basically maybe like the first 4 or 10 hours of the game.
It's Midgar. You're going to charge me $60 for 2 discs for Midgar.
In this game, in this Final Fantasy game, you travel across this entire world. And what they're selling everybody for $60 right off the bat is the first area that you're in.
Pete, think of it like this.
It's the cell phoneization of our console games.
This whole table is the whole world of Final Fantasy VII. What Square is doing is saying, hey, this box is what
$60.
They're going to charge you $60 for this box. That's what they're doing. You still have all this. Okay, how much? And that's Midgar.
So on average,
you still got to get out of Midgar.
It took an average person to finish the game back when it came on the PS1. It's about 60, 70 hours to complete. And that's without going on side quests or if you wanted to make things easier for yourself, you spent more time. Or if you wanted to chase down the optional bosses or go murder Yuffie like I wanted to.
I love Yuffie.
Yuffie can die in a fire.
I love Yuffie dog, man. For life.
In a fire.
For life.
Leaving you with no goddamn fucking materia, walking around with only able to swing your dick around at all these enemies. Yeah, I'm like, I can't heal, bitch. This bitch took all my goddamn materia.
She redeems it at the end of the game when you get her ultimate weapon, you give her the conformer, and you give her the transform materia, and you hit transform, which usually hits for like 1/8. You're wrong, son. Now she hits 4 9s, and you get max out.
Never used her.
Oh, dude, you
Cloud. Tifa, Sid. That was my team.
Cloud,
sorry, Barrett.
Tifa, youth dog.
Sorry, Barrett. You were in there for a while, homeboy. And some of my friends were very concerned about how much of a black stereotype Barrett is playing.
Barrett's been a black stereotype since 1997.
Well, it was fine in 1997 to be a black stereotype, but in this, SJW world, the Square Enix to keep them like, I'm gonna kill these motherfuckers.
It was bad then. The only difference between 1997 and 2019 is the fact that back then everybody was like, oh my god, those Negroes are trying to make Ebonics a thing. And now they're like, oh my god, you can't talk about Ebonics like that. Look, Chad, why don't you turn your hat frontwards and go cough on some testicles? Pick now to stop cursing. God, son of a motherless goat. Look,
I know, this guy, he has sworn away cursing. Man.
I'm just saying, Final Fantasy VII, it looks beautiful, but if you're so hung up on how black Barrett is, I'll tell you what. Why don't you get a rope and go hang yourself from a tree?
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you could still be vicious without using swear words.
Somebody's going to get mad at me for that.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, you have to pay extra for optional gameplay, clothes, extra boss. Yeah, they're just gonna. It's like a cell phone game.
How would you like to fight Ruby Weapon for $10 extra? You can call for my
And that's what they're gonna do. And I had this argument with Sam Zia back in the day.
Would you like Knights of the Round now as a disc one game breaker?
Yeah. It's gonna. See how I'm just trying to read your whole comment here. You'll have to pay extra for the optional gameplay, clothes, extra boss, all kinds of stuff. From what I understand, it's going to cost more than it's worth. And yeah, I don't doubt that one iota. And that's where I had the point of contention with Sam Zia when we argued over this last year, around this time. How they're going to milk this, and then they're going to burn out the freaking player base. There's going to be a small, like, tiny wedge of dedicated, like a percentile of people who buy games. There's going to be a small little pie wedge. Those are the people who come out and pay and buy all that stuff. But I don't know if it's going to be enough to support all these expansions. So you're going to buy a game that may or may not ever get completed. And Square realizes they're not making enough money back from it.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do like they did with Final Fantasy 15, where they're going to release the game unfinished, and then they're going to release the expansions. And then when they realize...
And then the Royal Edition?
Yeah, and that's exactly what they're going to do when they realize, oh, snap. People aren't buying this game as we thought it would. Now we're just going to have to rush out the whole thing and give you the complete version, which is the Royal Edition.
No, I don't. Honestly, at this point, I don't think they can, because I don't think they can afford to make the rest of it.
They can't afford to not make finish Final Fantasy VII.
Because you're talking about just like cutting off your nose to spite your face. I was like, oh wait, if they don't have enough finance, or the big thing they always used to say why they didn't remake it on PS3 because it's going to be incredibly expensive to take a PS1 game and just have that same scope in a modern game.
Dude, have you seen the character models?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They if this doesn't sell incredibly well, they can't afford to finish it.
Here's what they do.
I think you're not understanding game development.
They
have to pay all these people to create the stuff. It's not like it's done and they're just going to release it all. So Pete, let's put this in a comic book analogy for you. If the first few issues don't sell well and you can't pay the artist to finish it, then you can't make the rest of the book.
Exactly. But I'm saying...
They can't make the rest of the book unless they freaking bankrupt Square Enix.
Which wouldn't be the first time. But here's the thing. All they got to do is go back to the well, just like they did, just like how they're doing now. All they got to do is sit here and say, here's a demo. Here's the Mako reactor.
And that's the demo that they had at E3.
And here's 2 summon spells. You don't give us Bahamut. You don't give us Leviathan. You give us something else that we haven't seen. And then you
the scope of this project is so big. Mm-hmm. I don't think that the amount of sales that they're going to have to make to justify finishing this, and if it's going to be $60 for the first 8 hours of a 70-hour game.
Oh yeah, that's not financially viable. You're just not going to be able to do it. But
that's what I'm saying.
But if you give us,
you got to pay a $20 to $40 expansion every freaking 6 to 10 hours more of the game that you're going to get.
Works for WoW.
That is a freaking understanding that an MMO player goes into understanding they're going to pay every month. WoW, you pay every month.
Do you have any idea how many weeds there are for Final Fantasy VII?
There are a lot. I don't know if there's enough people who are willing to pay every game.
I bet you I could walk outside right now. It would literally, remember Die Hard 3 when John McClane was in Harlem with the sign that says, I hate N-words? I swear to God, if I go back in time, I would use the time stone, go back to last week, and I would have those billboard signs that said Sephiroth coughs on balls. And I guarantee you that's the equivalent of it. I would get jumped hard.
Yeah, but you know how many of these weeds are actually going to pay for it?
Everybody who threw a punch at me.
There's a lot, as we've learned in video games, there's a lot of people who say they're going to buy something and don't.
Also true.
There's a lot of people who are happy to spend other companies' money.
Yeah, also true.
There's like a lot of people to bring back a Swamp Thing. A lot of people say, oh, just pay. Who cares about the taxes? Just pay to make the rest. You're spending someone else's money. There's a lot of nerds out there happy to be like, It's not my money. Spend it.
And the funny thing too is I read this article about how a lot of people complain about something getting canceled are the ones that are stealing it anyways.
Yeah.
So
The people who are complaining the most are the people who are not paying. They're not putting their share in to help contribute to this fucking nonsense. So there's this disconnect between the circle of economics. All right, I like this. I'm going to pay for it. That way they know I like it, and they'll make more.
Yeah.
And there's this weird disconnect where, like, I'm not going to pay for this shit.
It's the internet.
And
Why
I
am
hate
paying
it.
for something?
And then wait, there's just a straight line. We don't get money back into it. The money doesn't come back around, back into like, oh, cool, let's make more.
yeah.
They're skipping a step. They're like a bunch of underpants gnomes. They don't understand. Like, oh, steal underwear, profit.
Yeah.
They don't get it. They're like, oh, you have to. If you love a product, you have to support it for it to survive. You can't put this, oh, thoughts and prayers. Let me throw all my thoughts and prayers into this product, and it'll come back.
Which is why Resident Evil 4 keeps selling, and the others don't. But you got to put out a quality product in the first place.
Yeah.
Will Final Fantasy VII be a quality product? I believe that it is.
I think it's going to be a quality product, but the way they're presenting it, it is not a sustainable.
That's the word I'm looking for.
It's not a sustainable product the way they're presenting it, where you're going to have to pay $20 to $40 every 6 months to a year to continue playing it
For 6 hours. No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. For 6 hours, it's like, all right, cool, I'm done. It's like it's why Destiny has gone to hell. It's because like they put out a new expansion for $40, and people would be done with it in a week. They're like, we want more. It's unsustainable.
Yeah.
For them to finish. I think that's honestly that's why they have to do it episodically, because it would take them another 10 years to do all of Final Fantasy VII in one game and then charge you $200 for it to justify how much they spent to make the goddamn thing.
Not gonna lie, I would probably pay.
I know some people would pay, but for them to put like literally like the MCU budget for all of their movies into one game.
Well,
because it's the development cost, and that's why video games are so fucking high risk now. Because it's not like comic books. It's kind of relatively stayed the same. The cost of production. I mean, maybe the cost for talent has gone up, but the cost to make a comic is still relatively static. I mean, I'm sure over time, inflation has caused the cost of a project. Like, Pete Molini here, him, an artist, another writer, they put together their old comic. They made it. They made a print run that you could afford, and you're selling them. That works. But in video games,
not work that
what used to take 10 people to make a game, now it takes 1,000 people to make a game. You have to pay these 1,000 of people, all of them a living wage, or drive them insane, burn them out, cause them to leave industry, or go insane, put them through crunch, make them work 15-hour days to maybe put a shitty, buggy game out on time, or you delay a game, Nintendo, and try not to drive your people insane, or you drive your fans insane because they have to wait longer because they've been conditioned by Activision and EA to expect a game every year when it is not fiscally or physically possible. It's fiscally what they want because they want a game every year that sells.
Call of Duty.
But gamers have been conditioned. Like, why do I have to wait 3 years for a game? We waited fucking 5 years for. We'd have to wait a console generation for some sequels.
Metroid.
Zelda.
Like,
there was one other than the freaking the original NES, and then I don't really count Majora's Mask because they just repurposed a whole bunch of fucking what do you call it?
I mean, they
repurposed
the assets.
They repurposed the assets.
They still
so
have
they
to
got
make
the
a brand
same.
new game.
They still have to make a new game, a game that you play the same 4 hours over and over and do the same. But they usually just do one per console generation. There's one Mario Kart per console generation. That's what you don't see Mario Kart every fucking year. Zelda's lately they've been kind of pushing it where like, well, I guess that Twilight Princess should have been a GameCube game, but it was also a Wii game. And then they had Skyward Sword, and then Breath of the Wild should have been a Wii U game, but it was also a Switch game. You know, good. They take about 3-4 years to work on these things, so sometimes the development cycle kind of overlaps, but they take 3 to 4 years to make these games. All these other companies are forcing games to come out at a much faster rate, therefore hurting the quality, and then over time hurting the brand. That's why Call of Duty is no longer the biggest selling game anymore, because they keep shitting out these bad ones. And now, like, they had to put all their fucking eggs in this basket for this Modern Warfare, which is basically a remake of, like, the original one that caused this entire Call of Duty mess in the first place.
Figure.
But if you I want to talk about quality. And let me tell you my favorite booth that I saw at the Electronic Entertainment Expo. There's this wonderful company called Arcade 1-Up. And they have been playing with the feelings of people my age and older and slightly younger. They create these amazing mini arcade scenes. So you go find the video on our Facebook page. I took several videos. I took three videos of that booth. One video of their Marvel Superheroes arcade stand. It's a little mini arcade cabinet. It's an affordable arcade cabinet you can have at home. They range from $200 to like $350. These arcade cabinets, which is a lot less expensive than getting an actual arcade cabinet, which can get you up in thousands. And then on top of finding the game. And so these awesome things, like they had a Marvel one, which had the original X-Men fighting game, X-Men Children of the Atom, and then the one that came out after that, Marvel Superheroes.
I love that game.
Infinity! Final Justice! And then Maximum Spider.
That's what, there it is. That's my boy right
Proton Cannon. Back before Iron Man was cool.
there. Back when, it's my Sunday best. I swear to God, that's what he said. You can't convince me of otherwise. He said that, and then he would hit you with the proton cannon.
Don't even know. And then the third game on there, which was personally my favorite of the three, the Punisher game, the one where it's you and Nick Fury just final fighting it through a bunch of dudes. Like you'd randomly get a gun and you just mow everyone down. I played that for a good 10 minutes before I was like, oh man, I'm wasting time here. I need to go take videos. I was like, this is cool. I'm like, I'm killing a bunch of dudes with the Punisher. This is awesome. And then they had that. They had a Marvel one. And then the one that really just, I'm going to say goodbye to $350 at some point. They had a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles one, which had the original arcade game, and also Turtles in Time. And it's not just 2 players, it's uncomfortably 4 players. Or as me and my brother discovered, you can play 2 players. If you have big hands like the Cervantes boys have, you can use your pinky and your thumb to control the thumbstick, and use this thumb and this pinky to hit the attack button.
Oh man!
We played 4 players with 2 people. We're kicking ass. I was Leonardo and Michelangelo. My brother was Raphael and Donnie. We were just like, fuck it, let's go. It's so amazing. It's a literal arcade version. I mean, it's a little mini arcade with the monitor. It comes with everything. You build it yourself. It ships to you flat, and you build it yourself. And it comes with a nice little LCD monitor. You play it, and it's on free play already. And you're just like shell shocked. So yeah, TL. Check out either my Instagram or check out the Facebook page. There are videos of like me just losing my goddamn mind. And the rest of the booth, they had I guess these are ones that have already come out. I knew about the Street Fighter one. There's one where they have OG Street Fighter Champion Edition. They have Ultra, and then they have freaking Super or Super. They have like 3 awesome Street Fighter ones. On the other side, I saw they had one with Mortal Kombat 1, 2, and 3,
which are the
literally the last time I ever played Mortal Kombat. I haven't played any of these modern ones, or even the ones from PS2 going on forward. And they have all those. They had, so I don't know if y'all went to Marie Callender's back in the day.
Heck yeah.
And I don't know if you remember how like sometimes in the little waiting lobby they'd have that little flat glass that had like Pac-Man. They had a prototype of a Street Fighter one. It had 2 screens, where like one for one person on one side and one for the other person, and it had basically the contents of the 30th anniversary package. It was pending licensee approval.
Oh no, my wallet, it burns.
Yeah. And it's a flat one that you can just use it as a table. You can have your soda right there. You can have your
drinks off my
your
machine.
drinks. You can have your chips right there. You have one screen for you and one screen for the other person, and you're just throwing down on Street Fighter. It had all the freaking. It had the Street Fighter 2s, it had the Supers, and it had the freaking Street Fighter 3s. Man,
My heart.
Oh,
Elizabeth is the big one.
And much like the Sega booth, they had the world's largest arcade booth. They had a giant one. You had to walk upstairs, and there's a big old controller and some big buttons, and you could play Street Fighter on this giant one. It was like the size of your store here, Pete. That was literally my favorite booth, and they also had a whole bunch. They had some like, I guess if you put some slant wall in your house, you can just put a little one on your slant wall. That way you don't have to like put it on the ground. There's ones that you can have on the countertop. They had all the bunch of classic arcade, freaking Galaga or freaking Joust or whatever. All a bunch of like you can just put it right here. It's like this big. You set it down. Yeah, that was my favorite booth of the show. Arcade 1-Up. These guys, they understand that everyone who was a kid or a teen in the early 90s has money now.
Yeah.
They have jobs and hopefully disposable income, and they could put a literal mini arcade in their house. And because it's kind of low to the ground, but they sell you a little booster. You put a little booster, that's an Arcade 1-Up booster, raises it up so you can play it standing. They've broken this man's heart.
My little girl birthday coming up. I'm supposed to be saving money for that.
You could just Homer Simpson it and be like, honey, this is for you.
Yeah, no.
It's for us. We can all play. You and Gianna and Noah and Elvia. You guys can play 4 players, Turtles in Time.
They're not going to want to play it because I'm going to boot them all off the machine. One of them is like, puts a drink up on the table. Be like, excuse me, you couldn't put a drink on the table on the machine 30 years ago. You ain't going to do it now. They going to have me start cussing again. Boy, I tell you, these kids.
I know. It's pretty amazing. That was probably the best booth of the show for me, hands down. Just like, because you know what you could do at that booth, unlike almost all the other booths?
Play games?
You could play games! You could try these out! Because some people get frustrated and walk away.
Yeah.
They get their asses whipped, Marvel superheroes or X-Men trolling the Atom, which, man, I forgot that was a wonky ass controlling game. I don't know how the fuck I beat Magneto back in the day.
You beat Magneto?
Yeah! Yeah, I beat his ass. But I could only do it with either Psylocke or Colossus.
Oh, so like everybody else. Okay, never mind.
What?
Because I saw one guy do it with Storm, and I'm pretty sure there was like some sort of sorcery or soul exchange that allowed him the dexterity to do it, because that game cheated
Oh, yeah.
terribly.
Well, the only reason was that we had it in our comic shop. We had it at Silver Age Comic Galaxy, and I would just play it every day because it would just be frustrating as fuck. It'd be like, sit there like as I got my ass owned by fucking Iceman, and just throw his hand into the sky, and all of a sudden, plop, a giant
block of
fucking
ice.
crushes you. So I'm like, oh, cool. It was funny because I remembered how Cyclops would play. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. If I hit jab, he'll just shoot it low. If I hit medium, he'll get all freaking hand on the hip and shoot it straight forward. And if you do fierce, you just shoot straight up. It's like someone tries to jump at you. Fuck you. But yeah, and then I remember he had the cool kind of like weird kind of like wannabe blade kick, but it wasn't a blade kick.
I remember that. Hit
Oh,
2
man.
times.
And then he kind of played like Ryu because he had a little uppercut. Oh, when you do it with fierce, he blasts you with it. Yeah, God. Then I played a whole bunch of Marvel superheroes. Like I had to get away from that fucking booth. I was just like, I'll beat that ass with Iron Man. But I wish I had used Spider-Man because Spider-Man was like my favorite character.
Win one for JJ. That was. Oh my god, that game.
Little camera will come down.
Little camera comes down. Maximum Spider.
You have no idea.
Infinity.
You have no idea how many egos I crushed in that game.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked by Blackheart though. I had forgotten about Blackheart. Blackheart is a cheater.
And then I remember I thought I was hot. I thought I was Kingfish. And when that game was hot, I was at E3 and they had like a little tournament going on. And I realized how much I sucked. The gap between...
It's like martial arts, man. There's always someone better than you.
No, dude. The gap between...
There's always someone better than you.
The gap between how good I was at golf and stuff, where I ruled with an iron fist, and how good I wasn't at E3 was literally, it was like if a child came up to you and said, I'm going to knock the stuffing out of you, and you just held them back like this, and then just waffle stomped them with one hand and just like drove them into the ground Looney Tunes style. That was how bad I got stomped. Embarrassing does not even begin to describe it, and I have lost to a man who beat me literally using his elbows.
Damn, I thought me getting my ass kicked by a Capcom playtester was pretty bad.
No, you lose to a man who beats you with his elbows, and I don't mean like Muay Thai. I mean like he used his elbows like he didn't have hands. He just played like this And I don't even know to this day.
Like, you're like some sort of like weird Buddhist monk
Yeah.
who swore to never use his hands again.
Yeah.
These are lethal weapons. I could never use them again. But I will beat you with my elbows.
My elbows, on the other hand, will even the playing field. And no, they didn't. He still waffle stomped.
That's still probably better than when there was one GameStop conference where like at the Capcom room that we went to, they had one of the guys who his job was to play Street Fighter. And like, if any of us could beat him, they'd give us a bag full of Capcom games. Needless to say,
No one got a bag.
no one got that bag full of Capcom games. I faced him. He 2-round perfect me with Hugo in Street Fighter 3.
Yeah, you were a monster in that game.
I just sat there going, I don't even know what happened. I thought I knew how to play Street Fighter, but then it was like, Street Fighter 3? Oh, I suck at this one.
Yeah, no.
I'm like, I never was good at that one. I got okay with Dudley because I like to be a dick with Dudley.
Yep.
But
You do that thing where you like just kind of drop.
apparently there's a message here for you, Jai, from TL Reed. Jai, the mom says hi and wanted to know when you got old. LOL.
Not old. Black doesn't crack.
Black don't crack. So aside from that, like,
I love you, Mom.
the rest of the show was it was just me walking around. The other highlight that I enjoyed was a booth that wasn't really even a booth. They had the video game museum was there, and they had a whole bunch of stuff curated from the video game museum.
I saw some of those pictures, dude.
Yeah, you should check out the video. The video was like I took video of a whole bunch of stuff. They had an NES with Battletoads because they hated people.
Clearly.
And yeah, I played that for like a minute, and then I was like, oh yeah, this game is infinitely horrible. Oh no, it's not bad. It's really hard. It's bad if you want to have fun. If your goal is to have fun, then Battletoads is bad. But if your goal is to be challenged and hate yourself, then Battletoads is exactly what's prescribed for you.
Battletoads causes depression. That's all I'm going to say.
The other big surprise to me, like, I documented this on one of the YouTube videos, Bethesda.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you recall Bethesda old booth at E3 used to just be a monolith.
Yeah.
That you could not walk inside. It was very closed off. They were the current E3 before E3 became what it was. They were the ones who'd be like, no, you cannot see the new Elder Scrolls. Only the media and select invited guests can come inside and see Elder Scrolls.
Yep, I remember that.
They are the opposite of that now.
Well, that's good.
Their booth is just like, it was a wide open. They had Rage 2, which was already out, but it's funny how that always happens. Like, if something comes out a month or two before E3, they just said, fuck it, let's put it on display there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe to encourage people on the trade. Hey, look, check out this game that just came out last month. Please buy more.
Yeah.
They had Wolfenstein. They had Doom Eternal. I was so surprised at how many games they had on display. Oh, it was just like it looked like it. And now I think if I had wanted to, I probably could have walked up and waited 15 to 20 minutes to play a game. Mm-hmm. They had relatively short lines, but again, time was of the essence. I only had 3 hours of non-gamer pastime.
Yeah.
And I saw it. I was very astounded at how Bethesda, they kind of reversed their previous E3 stance of like being very isolationist, and now they are very please come play our games. We're releasing more than one game a year now.
We're more than just Fallout.
Yeah. We're more than just Fallout 1 year and Elder Scrolls the other year, and then nothing else in between.
Yeah.
Occasionally a Doom game here and there.
Well, I heard that the new Doom was really good across all systems.
Yeah, the one that came out last year, right?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be really good.
Yeah, my brother's got it for the Switch, and he's like, yeah, you could tell where they had to make some concessions.
Right.
But it's
you can carry it with you. You can carry it with you.
Mm-hmm.
What was really fun for me is the Namco Bandai booth, and then they had a Dragon Ball Z game, which I didn't want to wait in the line to try it out. But I learned today in an article on the internet, they're releasing a Dragon Ball Z RPG where you're going to play as Goku.
Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Yeah, Dragon Ball Kakarot.
Yeah, I saw that.
And the weird thing is, they're going to make sure you're underpowered, like where you have to kind of level up to get strong enough. But so Raditz is going to kick your dick in and take your child.
They're keeping it true to the manga, everybody.
Yeah, and then apparently there's going to be a lot of the stuff that people call filler is going to be a big part of the game where you're going to walk around and talk to people. Lunch is in the game.
I wonder if they're going to make you drive. where you got
That is pretty
the,
funny.
Oh, that is like the second thing I thought of. Oh, like, oh my god! I hope there's a sequence of you and Piccolo learning how to drive.
there's a scene of Chi-Chi yelling at you to be a productive member of society, and you have to get a driver's
I
license.
mean, on that alone, because I just thought it was like another Budokai, but just only focused on like the first part of Dragon Ball Z. I was like, oh, I'm like, yeah, it's like another Budokai game. But after I read this article where they went in more in depth into this game, I was like, oh, I think I'd be interested in playing this game. Even though I'll be frickin' Goku the whole time, I can Team 4-star my way through it and write my own dialogue.
Well, it's done by the same guys who did the Naruto games.
Right. Oh, I see.
Cyber Connect 2, I think.
And if these are the same Naruto game, well, these might be. Well, there's a series I really enjoyed on the Xbox 360. There was a couple like Rise of the Ninja, and then there's a Sacred Bond. Those were very like GTA style Naruto games where you really literally ran around the
You
Hidden
have
Leaf
to
Vision.
run around the
And
hidden
it was
village.
it was so much fun. I enjoyed playing the crap out of that game. I remember I had to go out and get a replacement because I accidentally kicked my 360 and it put a ring right through the game.
Wow.
And I had to go out and I was so oh my god! I went out and got a replacement for that immediately. That's how much fun I was having with Rise of a Ninja. So like, but I understand that obviously in the PS3 and PS4 there's been a bunch of Naruto games. So so I'm assuming those are also good.
Yes.
And so I was actually very intrigued by this Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. If you watch my video, I do my own little improvisation. Like, oh look, finally, someone uses your actual name, Kakarot. I don't know. I don't think people like carrots. I hate you. And of course, last but not least, Nintendo. You know, they had their big booth, and something I learned over the weekend from the Wall Street Journal is that Nintendo is moving their production from China. Apparently, they've stopped manufacturing stuff in Japan, and they've been manufacturing everything in China. But now they're going to be moving it elsewhere. They're moving it out of China into somewhere else in Southeast Asia. I don't know if it's going to be Malaysia or Singapore, somewhere else where they can enslave poor people into putting together electronic components.
Thanks, Trump.
Where does Apple make all these things?
God.
What third world country? And so yeah, I thought that was very curious because I'm sure with all the tariffs, I don't know if it was you or Lamar saying it's not just the tariffs. It was like something else beyond that. It was more than just that. Why they're moving their production elsewhere. There was some sort of like there's all kinds of other nonsense coming out of China where like everyone's trying to move their businesses out of there beyond the tariffs.
Although I think it's what 25% now. What the tariffs are up to?
Yeah. Imagine tacking on an extra $75 to a Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. Your $300 Nintendo Switch switches to a $375 Nintendo Switch. Yeah, they're moving that shit out of Asia. They're moving that shit out of China. I thought that was very interesting. Well, was there any other news from E3 that intrigued you, Mr. Jai Polidore?
My whole thing, my whole takeaway from E3 was, as I said in my Facebook post, where every other company was like, "Here's a bunch of stuff that you'll be able to play next year." And Nintendo was like, "Hey, dude, I got some stuff. I heard you like games, so let me give you some games for your game system, and you can play those things right now." And
yeah, apparently, what was it? That there was a Cadence of Hyrule game that came out today.
On the day of E3, it was like, "Here you go, new game." It's almost like every E3, there's like when they do their trailer, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Oh, by the way, that comes out now." So when you leave the convention center, you can stop by a place and pick that up.
Last year they had Fortnite.
Last year it was Fortnite. Yeah. Like as soon as they did,
literally as soon as the direct was done, I was like, "Oh, cool. Let me download this Fortnite game and see what it's all about." Let me see what this Fortnite game is all about. Oh, it's about me getting killed while building something. Yeah. Okay, I get it now.
And they're bringing back Panzer Dragoon. Sweet.
Oh yeah, that was pretty cool. Let me see. What is the game where you create your own character and the characters are made the main characters? I believe that's Xenoverse. That's back to the Dragon Ball Xenoverse, or as I call it, back to the Xenoverse, Back to the Future, where you get to fuck with time. You know, the time god has you go through time like Marty McFly and try to preserve things.
Keep things the way they are in the manga and the cartoon.
Yeah, I think I bought Xenoverse 2 for the Switch because I found it for like $20 on Black Friday. So I went and bought that because I wanted to see what that game was all about. It was really interesting. I was like, I got kind of bored of it quickly.
Yeah. Fighter Z is where it's at.
Yeah.
That game is retarded fun.
It is quite.
You gotta have a D-pad though, or a joystick, because playing on the analog that the Switch has is just, it's not.
Oh, really? You picked it up for Switch?
Well, I originally bought. I'm gonna have to do the same thing with Samurai Showdown.
Did Samurai Showdown coming out on Switch as well? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're gonna bring it out on the PS4 and the Xbox first, and then I believe by the fall it'll be out for the Switch and the PC. But yeah, that's what I had to do with Dragon Ball Fighters. I bought that for my PS4, and then I had to buy it again for the Switch so that I could lay the smackdown on my little brother, because he keeps trying to challenge me, but I don't know why. He knows he can't. I'm like Ivan Drago, and he's like Apollo Creed.
Oh, so you just keep killing him?
Yeah.
It's murder.
Yeah.
So it's murder, you say?
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Let's see. For me, I think the biggest news for me that really inspired me was Phantasy Star Online 2.
Yeah.
After being
dormant
in Japan. It had been trapped in Japan for the last 4 or 5 years. They're releasing it over here. It originally seemed like it was only going to be on the Xbox, but later on it was announced by Microsoft, like, oh yeah, it's coming out on PS4 and it's Nintendo Switch and PC. I was like, be still, my beating hearts.
And aren't they supposed to allow crossplay on that too?
Yeah.
It was nice knowing you, dude. I'll miss you.
I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'll just be I'll be happy to play the true Destiny sequel, Phantasy Star Online 2. I'll be happy to finally play that. I enjoy that game because that's the reason I like Destiny, because that game reminded me of Phantasy Star.
Does Rosa know that she's never gonna see you again?
She'll see me. And we live in the same house.
The house isn't that big, so.
The house isn't that big. It's a house for a hobbit.
She's gonna be like,
it's a house for a hobbit. I'm not gonna go far.
She's gonna be on the Steve Harvey show. Steve, I don't know what happened to my husband.
No. Because you know what? You know why she's gonna be able to see me? I don't have an unlimited hotspot on this thing.
Oh, okay.
I'll only be able to online as long as I have internet on this phone, and then they only give me so many gigs of high speed internet. I can only imagine the low speed Verizon hotspot internet, because we don't have Wi-Fi in our house. We're in 1998 in our household.
Man,
We have
remember those days.
Yeah, it's okay. I've lived with cutting the cord. This is my reality. This is my normal.
Yeah, that's why I download everything if I can. Leave me.
Yeah, so I will occasionally hit the hotspot and update my Switch.
Yeah. No, I think, but going back, I think aside from knowing that they are that they're making the sequel to Breath of the Wild, easily the best game of the last 20 years.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild's really good. It's a Zelda game that even it's a 3D Zelda that even I like, and I hate 3D Zelda.
Yeah, he's a communist dog.
But this game is good. I enjoyed it when I was playing it.
I mean, I've heard that there are people who don't like Breath of the Wild, and those people probably don't like bacon either. So you should not trust those people.
Even I like Breath of the Wild. I was against it.
I told you.
And then I found it on sale. Like, I got it for like $35, combining a couple of deals at Best Buy. And I'm like, all right, for $35, I could be disappointed. And no, I was not disappointed. It was really good.
You can go back and play 330 plus hours is what I put in.
I don't know if I can do that.
You say that, but then what's going to happen
It's been a while. The last time I did that was Bravely Default. And that's the last time I did that.
God, I would love a sequel to that. Although I need to finish Octopath Traveler. But anyway, no, getting back, knowing that they're making a sequel to that.
There was no sequel to Bravely Default. There was no sequel.
One of these days, I'm going to finish the not sequel to Bravely Default.
There was no sequel. Just like there was no Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. There was no X-Men The Last Stand. There wasn't a lot. There was no Angry Hulk.
There was no. I've heard there's 4 Alien movies, but I've only seen 2.
But yeah, overall, it's as an old man who this was my 14th or 15th E3. I lost track. This was very yeah. So the biggest thing happened at 2:00, they let in all the Gamer Pass people, and it was not unlike San Diego Comic-Con. You could not comfortably walk around anywhere.
Yeah.
Every single aisle was swarming with people. It was, yeah. My brother found me, and I hung out with my brother for a little while. That's the only reason I even stayed past 2 o'clock, because my brother wanted to hang out. And I'm like, I want to hang out with my baby bro. I didn't see him in a little bit. Hung out. I took him to the arcade booth. That's where we played Team together. And then I was like, around like close to 4 o'clock. I'm like, or like 3 or something. I was like, I'm done. I'm going to the 7-Eleven across the street and buy some water. Fuck convention center prices.
Real talk.
$4.50 for this much water. Fuck them, motherfuckers. I was so mad. I literally walked up. Like I grabbed the water. I was prepared to pay $2.50, maybe $3. I was quite thirsty. I was prepared to give up $3. I'm like, all right, I understand the rules. This isn't my first rodeo. I've been to enough conventions in my life to know if you want refreshment now, you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah.
I walked up that water, a fucking bottle of like Aquafina or whatever. She scanned it and told me $4.50. I laughed, grabbed the bottle, and walked it back to the fridge. It wasn't enough for me to just walk away from the bottle. No, I grabbed it, took it, walked it back to the fridge. I said, "Fuck that."
They're crazy, man.
I was gonna be like, maybe if I paid another $1, I could have got a beer. Nah, beer was like $9. Fuck that. $9 for a beer, a domestic, even. Maybe if it had been an import, I might have been inclined to spend $9 on a beer. That might have been just as refreshing. Fuck that noise. I left the convention center. Oh, dude, they have security checkpoints. My God. I was freaking 5 minutes away from getting my tea bag checked. My God. Like, do you recall this ever happening before? Jai Polidore, where you're getting... You gotta walk through a metal detector. I felt like I was going into a courthouse. I had to empty my pockets, my phone, my portable charger, my freaking keys, my freaking pen. Thankfully, I had my box cutter from work. I had to freaking go get. I hid my box cutter in a plant and went back and retrieved it after the show. I've had this motherfucker for 13 years. I was not going to give it up. This motherfucker has been with me for 13 fucking years. I was not going to have this thrown away at goddamn E3. My dumbass tried to take it out, leave it in the car. I need it for work.
Yeah, nah, man. I remember going. I remember there being security. I don't remember it being.
You got checked.
Yeah, I don't remember it being.
Fucking, they had the fucking. We had to walk through the fucking metal detector and then do the wand.
Yeah, it was just the guy with the wand. All right, going in.
Yeah, but I mean nowadays, a couple years ago, some guy tried to kill the Green Power
Ranger. That's right. So now,
I mean,
they gotta watch out. And then there's cosplayers going to E3.
Of course there are.
Why? Why? You're not going to see the developers. They're not walking the show floor. They're not going to, hey, look, check it out. Someone's dressed up as my character.
Which sucks because back in the day, there were developers walking the floor.
Yes, I remember interviewing fucking Ted Price about Ratchet and Clank. I had that video somewhere on a camcorder. I should dig it up and put it on the YouTube page.
I remember I caught him out of the corner of my eye, Miyamoto, just as he was walking behind the curtain. I was like,
Did I ever tell you my Miyamoto story?
Don't do that. Don't give me hope.
I met Miyamoto. 2006.
Remember that time when I killed you and I was not able to bring you back to life because I did not have the time.
In 2006, I got to go. That was the one year I had an exhibitor badge.
And it was a bottle that...
Because I got my badge. It was my first E3
it was some
as a Nintendo employee.
Some terrible John Wick tragedy with a water bottle.
So I got to go in early before anybody else. And I walked to the Nintendo booth, and that was the year the Wii was on display. And there was no line because I was an exhibitor that year. The only year I've ever been an exhibitor.
He doesn't know this, but today is his last day.
And so I go in to play the Wii, and I see one of my coworkers who I know, and I'm like, "Hey, Chris, how's it going?" He hands me a Wii remote. This thing's interesting. What the hell? And I played bowling or something, and out of the corner of my eye, what do I see? But a man, he was standing behind a pillar. Mr. Miyamoto, the creator of Mario, The Legend of Zelda, Donkey Kong, freaking Pikmin, freaking Nintendogs. Like, trying to think all the stuff that he's made. He's made many a thing. Not Metroid. No.
He's the reason why Metroid Prime did not suck, though.
And I saw him. He was like just watching people play. And it was getting very close to when the show doors were going to open. And I ran over there like a fucking goober. I fucking threw the remote at my friend Chris. And I ran. I'm like, Miyamoto-san! Miyamoto-san! Goober. And I had my Nintendo work shirt on. I was so Nintendo'd. I was like, I work for Nintendo, motherfuckers. I had my work badge on me. I was like, oh, Miyamoto-san. And I shake his hand. And I'm like, can I take a picture? He looked at his watch. And he looked at me. He's like, so sorry, no time for a picture. And I'm like, it's okay. Run by it. And that was my Miyamoto moment. I unfortunately only got to meet 2 of the Nintendo Triforce. I got to meet Reggie twice, working for Nintendo. Got to meet Miyamoto. Never got to meet Mr. Iwata. Closest I ever got was like 8 feet away from him at an all-company meeting. Back in Nintendo, we had a whole. They brought in every Nintendo employee. They had all of us in Seattle. It was the brand new headquarters they had just built the year before. We all sat in this giant cafeteria. They lined us all up. I was in the second row, and like as far as me to that Iron Man helmet, that's where Mr. Iwata was. And he sat in a chair and he laughed at every ridiculous, stupid question they asked. Because there was this like they took a bunch of questions and they put them in a fucking hat. Like all the employees from the we didn't get to put any questions in because we were all remote employees, but all the local employees they got to put questions in, and they pulled questions from a hat and they asked them. And every fucking dumb employee question was dumb. And you would see him, as the translator would translate to him, you would see him like laugh a little and explain that seems to be more of a Nintendo of America issue and not a Nintendo Company Limited issue.
Why is there more Metroid?
Can we please get to a more NCL? Because NCL that's the parent company, man. Yeah. Nintendo Company Limited, that's the entire company. Where like we worked for NOA and I worked for beneath NOA, NMI. I worked for Nintendo Merchandising Incorporated. I was like 3 steps away from Nintendo, but I still was a Nintendo employee. And yeah, I remember sitting there like elbowing my friend. I'm like, what are these fucking stupid ass questions? You got fucking Satoru Iwata, the man created Kirby, for God's sake. The man was the president of Nintendo. They're asking about the fucking cafeteria food. Fucking idiots. Bunch of morons.
Ungrateful.
You had this look. I so wanted to meet him, and stuff like I kept laughing because like he sat there and he was very amused. He looked very much like one of the characters from Final Fantasy 11. He looked like a Taru. He'd be amused every time. He was sitting there in his chair. He's like, he'd have this playful laugh at each stupid question after the stupid employee questions, one after another. And I was like, oh, poor Iwata-san, sitting through all this nonsense. But yeah. I have to do like YouTube videos of just those ridiculous Nintendo stories. I think that'll get a lot of views on the YouTube and the Facebooks. So if you want to get more information, you can always follow us. And now, all my social media is unified under one at DreGP Podcast. That's our Twitter. That's our Facebook. That's our Instagram. That's our Twitch. Haven't quite got it to work for YouTube, but if you Google Dre's Geek Philosophy, that'll give you all those. If you go to YouTube, just type in Dre's Geek Philosophy Podcast, you'll get all our YouTube videos. And there's some exclusive videos on there as well, like Dre's Retro Game Minute and all of our E3 2019 videos. They're all in one convenient playlist. Be sure to go check them out. You can follow Pete Malini at Nostalgic Comics or Nostalgic_Comics, depending on which app you are using, social media app you are using. You can follow Jai at Jai Rizard, where he is no longer swearing. Can you type out swears? Or is it just only speaking swears?
No more swearing.
He's not going to swear anymore. We'll see how long that lasts.
The memes that I post may have profanity in them.
That's
but
what I'm saying. There's always a loophole.
I will not be swearing. I am just the distributor of the memes. I am not the creator. But Jai Polidore, first of his name,
likes to get people to go with memes.
I will not be, no more swearing. I'm done.
No more fucking swearing, huh?
No more swearing.
God fucking damn it.
Not gonna do it.
Holy motherfucking shit.
Regardless of
I will never take such a vow. I love swearing.
I do too, but
That's why this podcast has an explicit lyrics or explicit content at the front of every single one.
Don't worry, parents. I'm the good one now.
Hold on. I don't think I could roll my eyes hard enough for that.
I almost said that with a straight face. That was close.
you're the good one. You will.
I am the good one.
Not to comment on our skin color, but you will always be the brother of the dark, and I will be the brother of the light. You can always, if you want to support the show, donate to our Patreon. We have a Patreon. Just search for Dre's Geek Philosophy. Contribute to there. There's some exclusive content on there, and also you're helping the show. You can help me afford to buy things to support the show, like better equipment, a new microphone stand, because this one doesn't work anymore.
And get him a notepad. The man needs a notepad. He can make notes for the show.
I do make notes for the show.
He needs a notepad. This loose leaf stuff is for
amateurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you like our current awesome Patreon, Daniel Wong. He's our only patron, but you're awesome there, Daniel. And if you want to join Daniel being awesome, go to patreon.com. If you cannot support financially, you can always help in other ways. You can share the video, you can like the video, you can go on our other social media platforms and share and like. If you go on iTunes or Stitcher or any of these podcast apps, you can rate and review and subscribe to our podcast, and that also helps us without having to spend a dime. So thank you very much for watching. We'll be back here Wednesday night for the Multiverse Comic Show with Pete Molini, and on Friday you will get a Dre's Retro Game Minute posted onto YouTube, and I'll put a link right here as well on our Facebook page. So, you guys have anything else to add?
No.
Konnichiwa, not cussing.
See, normally he would say konnichiwa, bitches, like the old Dave Chappelle skit. Oh, see, I got you covered there on that one. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We'll see you guys next time. Have yourselves a good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.